I want to ask you one simple question. I mean, in the last hand that you played, why did you bet? Why did you check? Why did you call? Why did you make it $25 instead of 40? Why did you check back the river? Why did you bluff that villain? If I stopped you in the middle of one of those hands and asked you to explain exactly why you're making the decisions you're making, could you answer logically and coherently? Not an answer that sounds like, it felt right. That's what I usually do, or something like, I don't know, I just kind of play that way all the time. Could you actually explain your reasonings? Because if you can't, that's why you're still playing 1-3. If you can't explain your decisions with logic and reason, that means those decisions were not made with logic nor reason. It's really that simple. And here's the crazy part. Most players don't even realize they can't explain their decisions until you ask them and force them to think about their reasons. They don't even realize they're incapable of defending them. Most 1-3 players think they're stuck because of bad luck. They blame bad beats, they blame coolers, they blame being card dead. Sometimes they'll even blame the dealer. But after coaching hundreds of players, I've noticed something. The players who stay stuck almost never have one huge leak. They have hundreds of tiny ones. And almost every one of those leaks has one common root. They make a decision that they simply can't explain. This is what I call unexplained poker. You bet, but you don't know why. You check, but you don't know why. You call, but you don't know why. You fold, but you don't know why. Your decisions aren't exactly random, but they aren't precise either. They're based on, that's what I usually do. It seemed right. I had a feeling. The problem isn't that these decisions are always wrong. The problem is you don't know when they are wrong. And that's where the money disappears. Here's how players imagine losing money. They think about one big giant punt, one terrible bluff, one terrible hero call. That's not how most bankrolls disappear. They disappear slowly and quietly. You value bet $40 when $75 would have been called. You check back the river because you're not sure if you're ahead. You call the turn without even thinking about whether the price is good. You c-bet because that's what you're supposed to do. None of those decisions feel expensive. They're only off just by a little. But poker isn't played once. It's played thousands of times over thousands of hands. Now imagine making those same tiny mistakes every single session for the next 3 years. It adds up and it kills bankrolls. That's why players stay at 1-3 forever. Not because of one big disaster, but because of tiny leaks they never knew even existed. They simply over-rely on gut feelings and intuition. And there's nothing wrong with intuition. Let me say that. The problem is most players confuse intuition with habit. Real intuition comes from understanding. Fake intuition comes from repetition. If you're always betting half pot, eventually half pot feels right. But feeling right doesn't mean it's making the most amount of money. There's a huge difference between those two. This is exactly why I built the Pipo framework. Precision in, profits out. Every profitable poker decision starts with precision. Precise information, precise assumptions, precise reasonings. Because vague thinking creates vague results. If your reasoning for betting was, I don't know, I had 2 pair and it seemed like I had to get some value, your results will eventually become random. Winning players don't just know what they're doing, they know exactly why they're doing it. Here's something I want you to think about hard. Sit next to a winning 5-10 regular. Ask him why he made that river bet. He'll tell you. He'll explain the sizing. He'll explain your range. He'll explain his range. He'll explain why that specific amount makes more money than any other amount. Now ask an average 1-3 player, why did you bet $35? You'll usually hear something like, I don't know. It just felt right. This is what I always do. Those answers and the answers that the regular 5-10 crusher gives are worlds apart. One player is making intentional decisions, the other player is making familiar decisions, and familiarity is not a strategy. Here's the good news. You don't need to become some poker robot. You don't need to memorize solver outputs. You don't even need to know every GTO frequency. You simply need to become more intentional. When making a decision, always answer the question, why? If you can't explain in full, detailed, logical reasoning your why for any action at the table, that action, that decision, that play, it's a leak. And leaks compound. Here's the better way to think about poker. Think like a casino. A casino doesn't know who's going to win the next hand of any blackjack game. It doesn't know whether the roulette ball is going to land on red or black. It doesn't even care. Why? Because every game the casino offers has a built-in mathematical edge. And the casino trusts that edge, then simply lets thousands and thousands and thousands of decisions play out. That's exactly how winning poker players think. You don't control the next river card. You don't control whether someone sucks out on you. What you control is whether your decisions have an edge. If you consistently make decisions that earn money over the long run, while your opponents consistently make decisions that lose money over the long run, time does the heavy lifting. You stop hoping, you stop chasing luck, you stop judging yourself by one session, you trust your edge because that's what professionals do. And that's exactly how you move beyond 1-3. And to do that, you have to have an edge. You need to be able to answer the question, why, for every decision you make. Now, if you found yourself thinking, honestly, there's a lot of decisions I make that I can't really explain, good, because awareness is where improvement starts. That's exactly why I offer a free 60-minute one-on-one League Finder session with me directly. In those sessions, we're not going to spend an hour talking about fancy bluffs or solver theory. We're going to look at your game. We'll identify the decisions you're making on autopilot. We'll find the leaks that are quietly costing you money. And more importantly, we'll give those decisions reasons that are grounded in solid logic and theory. And I'll help you develop a repeatable thought process you can take with you to your very next session. Because once you understand why you're doing something, your game changes forever. To book your free League Hunter session with me directly on WhatsApp, scan this QR code or click the link in the description below to claim your session. You don't need to memorize solver charts or become some kind of a poker robot to fix this. You just need to get more honest with yourself at the table. The next time you bet, check, or call, you don't just ask yourself if it worked. Ask yourself if you can actually explain why you did what you did. If you can't, you just found a leak. And that's exactly where your next level of improvement is hiding. If you want to keep improving and keep leveling up your game, watch this next video. Keep crushing out there and reach out anytime through WhatsApp if you want to talk through a hand of your own. As always, I'm your friend Vinton. GG.